Can you even believe this guy? His name's Joe Lambton. He says, I see no point in alcohol unless you get fucked up. It's either 0 drinks, eating healthy, work, or hoes, friends, crazy memories, getting wasted. It's the people who have a few drinks every day that are the biggest losers. Skinny fat and getting nothing done. You're on or you're off. And I'm not sure what's worse. He getting 1 million views on this post, or that 16.9k liked this one, and by now probably way more now that it's in the future, and 1,309 people bookmarked it for later. In this video, we're going to talk about whether this tweet has value in it. Does it actually matter? Should you save this quote and take it for value, or is it just fucking trash? Why the fuck does that many people like it? We're going to get into that right now, and if you already have your opinion, let me know in the comment section before, and then write down what you think after. Alright, let's get into it. Why do people like this quote? Well, first, it's because people like tweets that they think are really easy to understand. No ambiguity, no gray area, but real life isn't like that. There's a middle to most things, and these tweets don't even explain to you where that is and why it matters. So let's talk about why it feels powerful to people. It's very toxic masculinity. What is toxic masculinity? It's to the point where you're a man, and that's usually the reasoning to why you should keep doing something. Because let's say it's really difficult and most people would just quit, but you're a man, so you have to do it no matter what. And you have muscles, you got the brain, women are stupid. It's that type of bullshit that's very similar to this. And when it comes to this tweet, when it says you're either on or you're off, and if you're not drinking tons and tons of liquor and you're not enjoying yourself doing stupid shit, then there's no point at all. Come on. People are out here drinking a few beers because life is difficult, life gets hard, or if friends offer you a few and you just talk, conversate. It doesn't mean that you're fucking skinny fat or that you're a loser or anything. They could be millionaires, billionaires, except they let you just drink a drink or two for the fucks of it, and then they get back to work. So that already proves to you that this doesn't even make any sense. Also, people think extremes feel masculine because certainty means strength to them and indecision always means weakness. When someone reads this and they really like it, they're thinking, I know who I am. I don't negotiate with myself. I choose a side and live there no matter what. No matter who's telling me, I know what I know and no one's going to convince me otherwise. And that's attractive, especially to men who grew up being told that hesitation means failure. And this is when you have to find the middle, because if you're on either side, it's you're either all disciplined or you're all crazy. You never have to ask, am I doing enough? Could I handle this better? Am I lying to myself anywhere in this statement? And honestly, if you really like this tweet, it's because extremes look impressive from the outside and nobody wants to admit it. Grinding 14 hours a day or blacking out on weekends is transparent. You can see that. Moderation is not. Balance doesn't really show people online like they're doing anything. People want to see extremes. That's how they get the likes and the views. No one's liking any posts or clapping at a bar if a person drank 2 beers, went home, and slept really well. They didn't have to get all fucked up to have a great evening. That's not that crazy. So extremes feel masculine, not because they're actually strong, but because they're really impressive to look at. They're very loud. It's simple. You understand what's going on. And because it sounds right, these type of things will always be a popular thing. Another reason why this tweet looks powerful is because structure feels safe. Why does structure feel safe? Because it reduces decision making. When rules are rigid, you don't have to think. You just follow. You just keep reading no matter what you think. I never drink. I only drink to get wasted. I'm on or I'm off. That's very comforting to people because they don't have to use their brain for it. They just listen, command, yes, boss. Yes, I am now under your control. Life is uncertain. Emotions are messy. People are unpredictable. Shit happens all the time. You never expected to lose all that money. You never expected to go bald. You never expected to not go to school when you're 18. You never expected to lose all your shit in that settlement. You never expected to be sued. You never expected X, Y, and Z. And that's already enough proof to say, yes, life isn't a straight and narrow path. It's a fucking roller coaster. Structuring your life creates a controlled environment inside the craziness that the world has. For a lot of people, sitting in strict routines and extreme rules aren't about productivity. They're about anxiety management. A lot of people have a lot of anxiety for the future. It's scary not knowing if you're going to have the money to enjoy life. It's scary not knowing that you might not be able to move out of your parents' house because you don't afford it with your job. It's scary to know that maybe your parents won't be living for the next 5 years. It's very scary. People are anxious, so being a structured life is much, much easier. Rules give you something to chew on. You don't trust your impulses. You don't trust other people. You don't trust yourself yet. That's not a failure on your part. It's you trying to understand what the world wants from you. It's not knowing what the future holds and not wanting that. You want to have clarity. Your rules are really great and your life is looking really balanced if you planned out your day and you know what you're going to do throughout and it works out. But as you know, shit happens. Your life gets fucking rocked. A breakup, a stressful job, some health issue, a social situation you didn't plan for. It's all this stuff that just why this tweet still doesn't make any sense. It's not on or off. Sometimes it's on, off, on. It could be just like that. So one moment you're thinking of drinking and the other you do, or the opposite. One moment you're not going to drink, but a friend from work calls you over and they say, do you want to have a drink? And you say, sure. And it just starts the friendship there. You never expected it, but it's just something that came out naturally. If your whole system in life only works in perfect conditions, it's not discipline, it's dependency. Real control isn't about having rules. It's about knowing when to bend them without losing yourself. And another reason why this feels powerful is people hate the middle. People hate the middle because the middle requires honesty. The middle forces you to ask uncomfortable questions. Did I actually do my best? Am I a fucking failure? Am I being disciplined or just avoiding what I need to do? Am I refusing to do this because it might be too hard, or is it because it's easy to just say no? It's not that hard, it's just that I didn't want to. It's just because someone like me doesn't feel like doing it. Extremes give you a script. The middle gives you responsibility, and responsibility is heavy. And the crazy part about the middle is you can't blame the grind, the party, the systems in place, the rules, the matrix. You have to own your outcomes. And the thing that's really hard to swallow, but here's a pill. Get some water, drink up. The middle doesn't give dopamine hits. No rush of purity, no rush of craziness, no identity badges. You're not going to get a diploma for this. Drink it, swallow it, own it. You're a man, right? You like this tweet. It is just consistency without making such a big deal out of it. And for people who are used to intensity, quiet feels empty. But here's the truth. Most people will never learn. The middle is where competence lives. Not excitement, not where you get validated, not where you figure out that you're competent. People who can operate in the middle don't burn out, don't spiral, don't need to announce their discipline. They just are. They don't need to calibrate, they're calibrated. They adjust. Things happen and you switch with the time. It's something that the middle allows you to do because you're prepared for it. Life sucks. And that's okay. It's not flashy. It's not this crazy masculine bulldog face where you gotta do something or you're gonna be a little bitch. That's grown up strength. You know you're a grown man when you realize this. So when someone says you're on or you're off, what they're really saying is, I don't trust myself just yet, and the middle is scary. It's very hard. Okay, now let's get into the things that don't make sense that they're comparing. In the tweet, they have a healthy grind versus daily drinker. The tweet sets up a clean contrast. On one side, you have the healthy grind, eating clean, working hard, being locked in, being as masculine, being as cool as you can be. On the other side, you have the people who have a few drinks every day. They probably get fat, skinny fast, he said, and get nothing done and have a stab at it. What do you think he's trying to say? The implication here is obvious. One side is disciplined and the other side is just failing at life. Why is it wrong to have a few beers without getting intensely drunk? Why does it, let's just say you are drunk. Maybe you are drunk. Does that mean you're unsuccessful? And even let's say you don't have a lot of beers and you just drink a little bit. You might just be a fucking loser anyways. So I don't get the comparison here. If you say that helps them, it's more likely, maybe. But if you're saying that it's just by your anecdotal evidence, that's bullshit. I mean, if you really think about it, what does it mean to have a few beers? Because it's really subjective. Maybe a few beers to someone is one only, and then a few beers to someone else is probably 4 beers because their tolerance level is higher. And does that make someone more unable to be successful than the other? I don't think so. It's all these labels of being drunk, being on and off. Where is he getting at? I don't fucking know. But to be honest with you, I'm not here to defend drunks, by the way. If you're hearing this and it's like, you're probably a fucking drinker. Nah, I'm not that type of person either. I just know a lot of people who just like to have a lot of fun, not getting too serious about anything. The only thing I would agree with is if you say having an addiction to beer or alcohol or something like that will actually ruin your life. That I can agree with. That will obviously, because there's been studies, that just brings you all the way down and ruins your day. But besides that, this whole on and off thing, I can't agree with. I mean, think about it. You can eat clean, train hard, and still be emotionally unstable. You see a lot of these fuckers out here being crazy. Why did you do it? It's because they touched my lawn. It's because they took my toys. It's because, how old are they? They're super old and they're still freaking crazy and they're rich. You can avoid alcohol completely and still procrastinate, avoid responsibilities, and sabotage your own progress. It's not really about alcohol. It's about the discipline you created by your own ability to do things even when it was hard, but you still did them because you know you have to do it. For example, hitting the gym even though you're lazy and you don't want to do shit. Or reading that self-help book because you know it gives you a lot of knowledge and it beats this stupid TV show that's going to waste your time with a bad ending. Just keep doing the good things that will help you get better at your life, and that creates more discipline. Don't let the bad things consume you. That's really what everybody's trying to get at. And then let's bring it all the way back. Flip that same situation. You can still have a drink after work, sleep well, show up consistently, and build something meaningful over time. Think about it this way. Elon Musk, he's been known to consume some drugs. That doesn't mean that he's not some rich billionaire guy who's moving the goalposts even further and further along, creating something that even the world didn't even know could even happen. Just think about all these garden workers who cut the grass, mow them, and all these people who take these really terrible jobs. Do you think they're just going home and then going to sleep and working that job over and over again? No. After work, maybe some, to be honest with you. But after work, they're going to go and drink, have some fun with the boys. It's not going to be all just hard work. You're going to have some fun. Go to sleep and then have fun again. That's the whole point. If life sucks, sometimes you just consume the things you don't really want to, but they taste good. Do you eat junk food? Most of you do. It's bad, but if you reward yourself after a really hard day, it's not going to terrify you. It's not going to ruin your fucking life forever. Health isn't about how clean you look or how clean you eat forever. It's about how functional your life is after getting ruined, being pushed down. The storm has to knock down the house. And does the house look like a mansion? No. But can it be rebuilt? Yes. So all in all, this tweet doesn't make any sense because it frames health as how you look on the outside, not how your life actually is functioning or how well your life is doing. This tweet also doesn't make sense because it has this skinny fat loser narrative. Just because you're skinny fat, it means that you're a loser. When did that ever become a thing? How many skinny fat people are out there that are not losers? Think about it. I feel skinny fat loser, just the words are so powerful but barely have any meaning to it. So when you read them, you feel this guy knows what he's talking about because he's describing what the person is exactly. Instead of just saying it's some skinny guy. Or you can just say he's a loser because X, Y, and Z, and that makes the sentence a lot more valuable, a lot more value in it, because then you can actually just judge those points. But with skinny fat loser, that could be literally anyone who looks skinny who's a loser. It also creates a villain type thing where if you're skinny fat, you're probably some virgin who doesn't make any money, who lives in his mother's basement, someone you can look down on, someone you can point to and say, aha, at least I'm not that guy. That guy smells. That guy's poor. That guy doesn't do what he should be doing. That guy is someone I hope I never become in my whole entire life, or that guy should just... But what's actually happening here is that they're targeting a weak man strategy. It's easy to target that because it's some skinny fat guy who doesn't look like they've achieved anything in their life. Instead of measuring their own effectiveness, you measure someone's own appearance. Instead of asking whether your system works, your daily grind, your daily habits, all that shit that self-help books tell you about, self-help videos. It's basically don't judge a book by its cover, judge its book by the contents in it. Does a book actually read well? Is it something that you actually find interesting? Is it some bullshit narrative that you don't want to read? See, that's trash. That's something you can judge. But if not, why judge a book that's bright baby blue and hot pink if that book can be really fun to read, or it has a lot of knowledge that a lot of these other books don't have and you just missed out on it? So don't fucking judge some skinny fat guy because they're either working hard on it and they don't know how to lose all that weight, or they're comfortable in their own skin, and fuck you if you think that they should change. That's not confidence. It's relief from looking down on people. And if you don't know, body composition doesn't tell you how someone sleeps, how they manage stress, whether they're consistent, whether they're building anything real. And to be completely honest, judging people by aesthetics is a shortcut for people who don't want to measure outcomes right. They don't understand that people can look some way and have a different outcome than what you think they do. That fat loser guy with the pimples on his face might be fucking rich with a hot ass girlfriend. Meanwhile, you're some buff dude at a call center hoping that their side business works out. And one of the most important comparisons that they get wrong is productivity as moral superiority. This is the most important one. because hard work becomes a means to an end, and it just turns into a signal of how much you're worth. How confident do I feel in the shit that I've done, and how confident do I feel just saying the things I'm saying? And the worst thing is, once you become that productivity guy, for the rest of your life, you'll feel like failure is a weakness, balance feels like failure, and anyone who operates differently becomes a target. If someone messes up, doesn't keep their schedule, is kind of sleepy throughout the day, or has some vices, a person like that probably thinks that they're freaking loser. They're not waking up at 5 a.m. They're not fucking bitches every day. They're not working hard on their side hustle. Shit has to happen. The life isn't fair. And this is exactly how burnout gets mistaken for discipline. If you keep working really, really hard, but nothing really is working, and you just keep burning yourself out, and then you think, well, at least I'm disciplined. At least I'm not like the other losers. That's being busy doesn't make you right. It just makes you busy. It doesn't mean that you're actually succeeding. It just means that you're working hard. Towards what? Your goal. But is it working out? Nope. Just like the other guy. You don't yell out your productivity. Productivity is more quiet because you're working hard on it. It compounds. It doesn't need to insult. It doesn't need to insult people to feel real, to feel legitimate, to feel like you're actually completing something. So what's the assumption that many people who like this tweet are assuming? They're thinking superiority comes from opposition, not outcomes. When people are saying that this tweet is awesome, this tweet is exactly what I'm thinking, they're actually responding to its discipline or alcohol or productivity. It's opposition. This tweet only works if there's a group to look down on. Daily drinkers, skinny fat losers, people who are half in, half out, people who don't make a decision whether they do or they don't. People who are strictly buff, loser, Chad guys, or fat, at-home fuckers with their moms. If this message didn't have an enemy, this tweet would suck. And that reveals the assumption underneath it. Feeling superior matters more than producing results. Because if it were about outcomes, we'd talk about angry levels, long-term health markers, consistency, life stability, but none of that is here. Only bullshit. Only things that people would say, of course, that's a loser mentality, that's loser behavior. And you might be asking, but what is here? What's here is contrast, us versus them, on versus off, winners versus losers. And that's not by accident. Opposition creates clarity without effort. You don't have to define what's good or what it looks like. You just have to point out what's bad. What does bad look like? And stand on the other side. That feels powerful, especially online. Opposition gives you identity instantly. You don't need a following. You don't need people to know who you are. You just need to say something controversial or crazy and people will like it. People want clarity and not confusion, just position. And once identity comes from position instead of outcome, something interesting happens. You stop checking if your life's actually improving because the proof becomes social, not practical. If you're not like them, you must be doing something right. That's why the tweet never asks, are you healthier? Are you happier? Are you more focused? Are you building anything that will last? These questions would weaken the argument. They introduce ambiguity. They allow uncomfortable answers. Opposition doesn't. Opposition feels masculine because it's confrontational. It's decisive. It draws a line between the two borders. But drawing the line isn't the same as crossing grounds. A lot of people mistake standing against something for moving towards something. This mindset shows up everywhere. In work, I grind harder than everyone else. Okay? But are you effective? Are you getting things done with less time? Is things a lot easier when you're on the team? In fitness, I suffer more in gym. Cool, but are you recovering better? Are you still using good form? In dating, I don't simp, alright? But are you still talking to girls in real life? Is something happening? Where's the proof? Opposition gives you a posture. Outcomes requires proof, and posture is easier. That's why this tweet doesn't need to be accurate. It just needs to be polarizing. Calling people skinny fat losers isn't an argument. It's just a way for people to be divided. It's trying to say, I'm not one of them, and if you agree with me, you're not either. Instant tribe type shit. Instant validation. But tribes build an opposition always. They always have a problem. They need enemies to survive. So the goalposts move. The purity test tightens. Moderation becomes betrayal. Balance becomes weakness. And suddenly the lifestyle only works as long as you're consistently proving you're against something. That's exhausting and it's fragile because the moment someone else gets good results without hating the same enemy, the identity cracks, it crumbles. So instead of adapting, the mindset hardens. More rules, more contempt, more extremes. Not because it's wrong, but because it has to. Here's the fucking truth that no one talks about. People who are actually winning don't need constant approval of that they're winning. They don't need to insult others' lifestyles to feel legitimate. They don't need enemies to feel disciplined. Their life speaks for itself. Energy, stability, progress, repeatability. None of that needs an enemy. So when you see a tweet like this, the question isn't, is alcohol good or bad? It's, why does this idea need someone to look down on? Because when superiority comes from opposition instead of outcome, you end up defending an identity, not building a life. And that's the trap. If alcohol controls you, remove it. If it doesn't, it's not the enemy. But if your discipline only exists when someone else is worse than you, that's not strength. That's just more clues that you're insecure. If you're truly successful and you're working hard every day, you don't need an audience to tell you that you're working hard. You don't need to bring someone down for that shit. And here's truly the real answer to this. It's exactly the one we've been talking about the whole time. They usually react emotionally. They want to feel superior. They want clarity. They want to know, am I off or on? Am I doing life right? Those wants are natural. Everybody wants direction. Everybody wants identity. But wants alone aren't enough. What you actually need is clarity that doesn't require extremes. You need a system that works whether life is calm or crazy. You need control that's sustainable, not just performative, wanting whatever everyone else is wanting. And that's where most people struggle, confusing intensity with control. People think if it feels hard, it must be virtuous. If it feels easy, I'm slacking. So they swing between extremes, on or off or on. They either push themselves to the limit, grinding, fasting, abstaining, overworking, or they crash completely, drinking, scrolling, jacking off, avoiding, and just not doing anything. The result, exhaustion, burnout, broken routines. Confidence is now weighing. It's shaking. Here's the answer you need. Control isn't about removing options. It's about handling them responsibly. You can drink moderately, work just like everyone else, rest intentionally, and still build momentum. You can take weekends off and remain productive. You can enjoy life and still be disciplined. Control lives in calibration, not extreme. It's the ability to make the right choices when the temptation exists, not when it's eliminated. And the second struggle that people are going through is wanting moral validation instead of results. Tweets like these make people feel virtuous simply by suffering, by looking rigid, by pointing out others and thinking, at least I'm not that. They want to feel better than someone else. They need recognition. They struggle to separate image from impact. Real answer: stop measuring yourself by how hard life feels or by who you think you're beating. Measure yourself by what's actually improving your life. Are you healthier? Are you more consistent? Are you building relationships that last? Are you developing skills that compound over time? Virtue isn't in suffering, it's in progress. It's in outcomes that last. Are you developing skills that will get better the more you try? The third struggle is ignoring the small everyday choices. The on-off mindset glorifies extremes. It glorifies drama. It glorifies grand gestures. But life is mostly small decisions, the daily grind, the little habits, the subtle adjustments. People struggle because they undervalue their moments. They think only the big swings matter. Real life though, mastering the small stuff is what leads to long-term results and success. Skipping one drink, waking up on time, replying thoughtfully, showing up consistently. Those aren't great. It's not what you think would be the big thing that makes someone really successful, but they work. Real control, real success, real growth. It sounds like a fucking ad, but it's the thing that really works. The fourth struggle is treating moderation as failure. The middle gets hated because it's ambiguous. It doesn't feel heroic. It doesn't get instant validation. And it's easy to feel like you're not enough when you're not extreme. But the truth is, the middle is where life happens. It's when humans operate sustainability. It's when confidence grows because you actually own your choices, and it's not something that someone else put in your brain. Moderation isn't weakness. Consistency is not boring. Balance is not defeat. Understanding yourself is very powerful. It feels powerful. But the middle builds resilience, adaptability, and freedom. So the real answer to this tweet, to alcohol, discipline, productivity, or anything that goes in between all that, it's simple. You want clarity, identity, superiority. What you need is control that works sustainably, outcomes that matter, and systems that survive chaos. We confuse intensity with mastery, suffering with virtue, extreme with success. But the real answer is focusing on calibration, results, small consistent actions, and balancing everything around you. If alcohol controls you, remove it. If it doesn't, it's not the enemy. If your work demands extremes to feel legitimate, reconsider the system. Reconsider your plans. If your relationships require constant proof of identity, step back and ask, am I actually connecting with this person or whatever it is? Moderation isn't compromise, it's mastery. Sustainability effort isn't boring, it's effective. And the best part, when you stop living for extremes, you stop living for validation. You stop measuring life by who's worse than you or who's not grinding enough. You start measuring life by what you're actually building, by how you're actually living, and by the freedom to choose your own path. So control, results, balance, that's what matters. Not extremes, not moral posturing, not other people, none of that bullshit. That's the real answer to this. And that is my answer. Is this tweet valid or is it just trash? Trash. Real control, results, and balance aren't things you figure out once and forget. They're skills you build over time with guidance, with systems, and with accountability. That's exactly what I focus on in my community. So if you want to work with me, fill out the form in the description if you want practical strategies, real frameworks, and daily habits that actually work. That's where I help people turn ideas into results that can compound for the future. And if you don't need that right now, then at least go watch my videos. Peace. Hit the subscribe, hit the hype button, let everyone else know in the world so they can get good information, and then leave a comment down below. Alright, peace.